Hey, welcome back to Oxygen Not Included, the color name Panopticon. This is going to be episode number 6. And I think, in the interest of just getting more done per episode, I'm going to move it up to an hour. I mean, I've been slowly kind of moving towards that anyway. I was originally aiming for 30 minutes an episode, and recently they've been hitting like 38, 39 minutes, so I'm just going to jump straight up to an hour. So if you've been enjoying this series so far, liking and subscribing would be great. And the date of the next upload should be in the information box underneath each video. Now, what were we doing here? So we had just completed this great haul, which is going to give everyone an absolutely humongous boost to their morale, which, well, not yet, because we don't have the item we need yet. It's not pretty enough, but it will be. And we definitely need to put in some airflow. So I'm going to put in some airflow tiles there as well, even inside the sleeping area, inside the barracks. Just because. Right, and we just dug out a whole bunch of algae. Okay, you're done. You're marked for deconstruction. I think we're going to dig all of this out now as well. And we're going to do it upside down? Sure, upside down. I'll have to dig that out. Now the danger here is, so we gotta kind of gotta keep an eye on things here. Is this when this starts digging down, one of our dupes will get it in their head to go down to pick up something, and in the time it takes them to get down to pick up something, start to move back up, the miner may have mined out the steps they need to get back in. So we're gonna kind of preempt that by digging this area out. For two reasons. One, this gives them an easy way to collect the stuff. And two, it should help avoid that risk of death. Yeah, here's hoping. Our sweepy's still working away. Large sculpting block, here we go. So decor item. See, it still somebody says decor item. But you can see here, the range of this is 4 tiles, the range of this is 8 tiles, so this is straight up just better for decor. Of getting that decor bonus to more dupes. Yeah, something I have no control over. An egg hatched, but I get credit. Sure. You know what? I do. I mean, kind of shouldn't, but there we are. So that means Rowan and Nisbet are going to be our 2 art folk. For now, at least. What is in here? Bunch of mush bars. Alright. Yep, though that's fair. We don't want that as actual food. Now, I also do try to kind of load balance our schedules. Just because it means we don't have people trying to do two things at the same time. Right? Like, two things, trying to do the same thing at the same time. Yeah, it's my fault. So, usually, what I would recommend that I failed to do here is only have one arty person in your colony. Because right now, because of the skill differential, the lower skilled person just made this. That's fine. But Ron could have done a much higher quality version. We got Elizabeth. Yeah, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to tell Elizabeth to stop doing art stuff until they get upgraded. And if we do that, they should be able to build one up again. Oh, there's metal block. Metal block. Now, metal block is even better. Metal block. I didn't really. That's 400 though. That's a lot. So if we do metal block with copper, that's, you know, plus 20% the same as granite. But the decor starts much, much higher. And I know for a fact that that's going to count as a fancy decor item. So what I think I'm going to do is leave it at this for the moment. Find some gold amalgam, make some gold, and then replace that with a gold statue. Because gold, I think, is plus 50% decor. That's the good stuff. Question now is, where is, I see a lot, oh, there's some gold amalgam down there. So the thing with the metals is, you'll notice that there's shiny stuff happening on the screen, so that's how you can find the metals pretty easy. So gold amalgam down there, that's iron, that's a little bit of gold amalgam. And gold amalgam occurs around algae in these kind of swampy biomes. Really not a lot of it on this map. Do I need? I don't need another decorator. Or researcher or rocket engineer. You're not good to me. So I'm just going to take the rust. Don't really have a use for rust. I'm just going to take it. Here we go. That get built. And that is now quaint instead of crude. So it was 18. Now it's 24. Not a huge upgrade, but it is an upgrade. Why are these not being worked on? And there's narcolepsy. Potentially lethal. Okay, so we're going to need to prioritize this construction, or who knows when it'll be done. There we go. There we go. Yeah, there's some gold amalgam in there. And it's going to give us... So I don't know why the game is like this, so I find it a bit confusing. But the amount you get is half of whatever's listed in that space. So even though it says 800, you're only going to get 400 out of it. I don't know why that is. So like here it says 800 algae, right? So that should pop into 400. Right? There's 400. Where did the other 400 go? Why am I only getting half? I don't know why the game is designed that way. I mean, they could have just said it's 400 algae there. Like, the amount that of space it takes up could have been the amount of resources you got. Even if it's not like 800, that could just say 400. I don't know why they do it that way. Seems odd. Not how I would have designed it. So this will give us... These two blocks together will give us 800 gold amalgam. Gold amalgam. I think we'll go like that. Because this water is really hot. I do not want this water in my base. That would be extraordinarily bad. So again, I've just given enough room to stand and drill out, and now that we have the gold amalgam, I can now say, yeah, give me 400 kilos of that, please. Yeah, it's plus 50% on the decor. So something else to bear in mind, in addition to getting half out of what you see, this the rock crushers are really inefficient. You're gonna get a 50% output. Later on, oh, I don't even have it. When you get a proper liquid refinery, you'll get 100%. Like 100 kilos of gold amalgam will give you 100 kilos of gold. Where is... There it is. Metal refinery. Not really concerned about that. Or any of those. Is there anything I want to prioritize? Ooh, insulated tiles are a good idea. Yeah, let's do that. Insulated tiles. Simply because the heat from here is going to bleed through, right? So you can see here the ground is already hot. The air is 27 degrees, 35, 40. So it's getting hotter and hotter the farther we go in. So we want to block that off, because otherwise we're going to get a lot of heat transfer, right? And that as I mentioned in the last video, because there's no kind of easy way to get rid of heat, to delete heat in the early mid-game, that is something we need to be careful of. Oh, that's not going to work. There we go. I'm separating these out this way because dupes can jump up a level, so I don't need a continuous ladder. I'm going to be deconstructing it afterwards anyway. I'm just building this up. So that's not a great way to do it. Because I'm going to want to deconstruct all that wire as well. You might ask yourself, but hey Brian, why go to the trouble of deconstructing the wire? Isn't that a lot of busy work? Because then you got to deconstruct those ladders. And it's like, yeah, I do. Because you have a limited amount of resources, you have a limited amount of material to work with, so you either recycle a lot, which is, you know, takes extra steps and a little bit extra work, or you kind of screw yourself over. Alright, so I'm going to make this out of igneous rock because it's slow heating, so it's going to start at 20 something degrees and it's going to take it forever to build up temperature. What are you? Yeah. I'm going to do that here, like so. And this that I've got here is another mod that I've picked up. So basically, when you go to sweep, I can now sweep by type rather than just sweeping everything and then having to individually click on, oh no, I just want this and this and this. So this is it's just a quality of life enhancement. Of course, half the colony has just gone on a break. Okay, cool. So these vents are working great. So this whole area is now full of oxygen. Did I count that? But it did count. It's now a fancy decor item. Okay, so the previous one, I guess 20 points is the crossover, which is what was previously listed in the stats as you needed a decor 20 item. So that's good enough. And while it's good enough to qualify for the room, I still want to bump it up into a gold statue. Just because it'll help with the average decor that people see. And if we look here, this is what I mentioned earlier about there being like these things having line of sight. So you can see from here, this second table doesn't have line of sight to the statue, even though in a straight line that statue goes all the way to this desk. It's getting blocked by the floor. Guys, why is this not being swept? Je ne comprends pas. It is granite. Do these things not accept granite? They do. not being swept. Oh, they are. Finally. Oh, right, because the... Okay, so this is a confusing thing about this game. The item... The errand is not assigned to the item. The errand is assigned to the storage bin. So even though you've told them to sweep that thing, what they do in order to sweep that thing is they lock on to the item bin, and then they go, oh, I have a job for this item bin, I can go collect this thing that's marked for sweeping. Right. I don't want any of you, but I'll take the hatchling. So what skills you do? Oh, excellent. You're upgraded. And we're working you towards mechatronics. Sure, get better at tinkering. Why not? How much gold do we have? 300 kilo. We're not quite there. But I think at this one we are. Yep, 400 kilos. Excellent. So previously, so I'm going to have to break it down because I'm changing the type. But you know, you might wonder. Here's a good example. So this is crude. This is the lowest. It's crude, and then quaint, and then masterwork. So I now have people who are capable of quaint, like the next level up of decorating. So in an earlier version of the game, it was a bit of a pain in the butt. You would have to deconstruct the whole thing. But they brought this thing in here where you can now go to material, or even change material. You can say, hey, clear the artwork and rebuild it. So you don't have to deconstruct the whole thing. In fact, clicking this just blanks it out straight away, like so. And off we go. You don't want to use the redecorate button. The redecorate button is for, there are multiple options for some statues and paintings. So what you're doing is that they allow you to just select the one and hit redecorate. But that will keep it at the same tier. So a crude statue, the lowest one, will, if you keep hitting redecorate, will stay forever at the crude level. So you see this heart here? This one up here is now quaint. Notice a heart isn't here. Right? So we're going to do that, we're going to do that again. I thought there was more options for these small ones. How odd. Anyway. So before we were just over 20, now it's up to 45, right? It's absolutely stunning. So now if we look at these guys, so if you're here, you're at like 106 art. Right, part of that is from all the mess tables, but part of it is also from like the statue. Like 45 of it is from the statue. Beautiful biohazard. Really? Fridges are a positive decor? How bizarre. So when we get more dupes, I don't want them in these seats up here. I want them in these seats down here because up here, they're not getting any benefit from that statue. Even that one isn't getting any benefit from the statue. Who's in here? Joshua. Let's move Joshua down to here. Can I disable tables? I can. Seems kinda silly. But for now, it's a useful thing to avoid people using something that's not affected by artwork. And again, the art from morale isn't needed. Like, if we look at our skills now, look at these huge gaps between the amount we have and the amount we need. Right? Kind of unnecessary. Let's take another sculpting block in there. So you gotta think about the average art that dupes are exposed to. Not just like where they had lunch. Because this is a very small part of their exposure over the course of the day, right? So you gotta build in these extra statues. Oh, I didn't upgrade his batat. Oh, I did. Why did I think orange was close? Okay, if we could now get these done, that would be swell. So I can start to use this area now for a hatch ranch, I think. Although I may not have enough room. The temperature is like 40s, temperature here is 60s. Not you, you. The ranch. Stable? Is that what I'm thinking of? It is what I'm thinking of. Right, maximum is at 36. So with these, I found like you don't need multi-floors for these, for the stables, because you can just have them long, and you want the door that they come in by. You're going to want to put the grooming station right by the door, so your dupes can just walk in and groom the animal straight away. These are going to be long, right? Straight line. And they only need to be about 3 high. So if it's 96 at max, that means it's 32 long. Which means I want it like that. That's going to be my stable, or at least my first one. I'm going to stick doors at the end, just because I don't want it to break later on. And because we have some hot temperatures up here, I am actually going to make the roof heat resistant. Now, food-wise, we're going to want a critter drop-off. And we're going to want 2 critter feeders. And the reason being is we have hatches. I don't want hatches. I want stone hatches, who are like a variant, an evolutionary variant. So, if we look at our hatches have a chance of producing 3 different types of eggs: hatchling, stone hatchling, or sage hatchling. All hatches produce coal. They produce coal at the same rate. There's the same conversion factor. The difference is the type of material they consume to then poop out coal. Right? So you got to think of your hatches as little converters. They convert material A into coal. Hatches do kind of a wide variety of stuff, most of which I want to keep. I don't really want them eating sand or sandstone or clay or crushed rock, or I definitely don't want them eating dirt, or all this kinds of stuff. Like most of these I want for my dupes, like fried eggs, meat. No, I don't want you eating any of that. Thank you very much. But if we feed them sedimentary rock, which is what boosts the chance of getting the stone hatch. Oh, it's the sage. And the sage focuses more on organic stuff. Again, that's slime and algae and fertilizer are kind of difficult to get your hands on, so I'd rather not waste a lot. But these guys now will eat igneous rock, obsidian, granite, stuff I have in massive abundance, and I'll convert that into coal. So notice it's like for every 4 kilos here, you get 1 kilo here. So 4 kilos, it's a 4-to-1 ratio conversion. Well, those materials I'm not giving up, of like obsidian, or sorry, it's like 2-to-1 actually for these. I was looking at the ores, which I do not want to feed them. If we go back and look at our regular guys for sedimentary, so again it's still 2-to-1, so the ratio doesn't change for the sedimentary rock, and for most of these it'll be about the same, right? 2-to-1, 2-to-1, 2-to-1. If you want, I really do like smooth hatches. Smooth hatches are kind of awesome because they will give you refined metal. It's not perfect efficiency like the metal refinery, but there's no heat. So these guys are absolutely freaking great. Now, they can't make steel, but short of that, like, it's like, 4-to-3 ratio. It's absolutely great. That's better than this guy, which is like a 4-to-2, should we say, i.e. 2-to-1. So you're losing half of it. You're only losing a quarter of it. Anyway, but again, there's no heat output, and even the heat output on this is really quite high. So I used to use smooth hatchlings quite a lot. The downside of smooth hatchlings is that they are really difficult to kill. So the thing is, when your stables fills up, your creatures get sad because they're cramped, and their metabolism goes to 0. So they stop producing materials. Which you're like, well, guys, the whole point of you being here is to produce materials. So you gotta kill off some of the animals to give yourself some space. And when it comes to smooth hatches, they have a lot of hit points. They're really tough, and they can take some. And the hatches will fight back. So the smooth hatches will really take lumps out of your duplicates in entirely reasonable retaliation. Yeah, self-defense is absolutely a reasonable thing to do. Free Palestine. Anywho, okay, so what I need now is under stations. There we go. I need a grooming station. I don't think... Yeah, I have nobody ranching, so we need to... There we go. Now I've got somebody ranching. We're good. Because you need to have ranching, you won't be able to use this. Focus on that, because once they build the floor, we won't be able to get to it. So now we have trapped one of our duplicates due to a complete lack of forethought, so we need to quickly build these. Can we get one more square, please? Pretty please? Pretty please with sugar on top? At least there's oxygen in there. There we go. Okay, we're good. And now Stinky is no longer trapped. I still want more ice. Well, I don't want any of the rest of this, so sure, we'll do more ice. Just so it gets done. Is the other ice still? Oh, we still have some of the other ice. It's unexpected. Oh, that's interesting. It's changing the average temperature of the ice. It's not like putting in as two separate blocks. That's intriguing. I would have thought just like foods of different freshness, it would have logged them as separate units. It's fine. Yeah, that bins down to 19.1. It's nice and cool. I normally have a statue in the toilet. 16. Oh, 64. Why do I not have a statue in the toilet? Oh well. Why are these white? They shouldn't be white. I'm guessing that's just a display book. That's entirely useless to me because I don't have access to plastic and I won't for an extremely long time. I'm sorry, what? I thought I could search by types. I am very confused right now. Can I put sedimentary rocks in there? Oh, I know what the problem is. The problem is probably that I haven't located sedimentary rocks, so that's why it's not an option. Yes, that's why. Okay. Sedimentary rocks are usually located around coal, like, you know, igneous rocks, granite, and sedimentary should be near that stuff. Oh no! My entire plan may have been undone because I assumed sedimentary rock was here, and it is not. Well, that's hilarious. I don't think I've ever had a starting area before that didn't have, maybe not an abundance, but at least a reasonable amount of sedimentary rocks. Okay. What other kind of rocks do hatches eat? I need sand and I need sandstone. Crushed rock. What is crushed rock? It's igneous rock crushed into mechanical mineral. Okay. I don't recall ever running across crushed rock. But it means, okay. So it's igneous rock. Will these guys eat igneous rock straight? No. So you have to, like, grind it down for them in order to eat it. That's kind of hilarious. Okay. How much sandstone do we have? We have 232 ton. I think we can afford to put sandstone in here. Yeah, I was right. You can search for the material. How much sand do we have? Nope, not diagnostics. Resources. And we've 82 ton of sand. Yeah, we can get away with that as well. Sand you need as a filter medium for water purification, but not in any kind of serious level of abundance. And there's other materials you can use. That's also counts. All right, here we go. We got our suits up, so now we've got someone who can run a little bit faster. And yeah, let's do more research. Alright, and we seem to be slow about this for some reason. This is going to be our drop-off point for hatches and hatchlings. So we can start capturing them now. At the very least, just to get them rounded up. Now, sometimes they can be burrowed. There he is. So when you go to capture, you do kind of want to not just hit the visible spots, but also the hidden spots. Let's just move that egg up here. So when it hatches, it'll be in our... Yeah, no, we do not want to capture... Is that a sunbug? Yeah. So you see, they will rope them even if they're underground. And hog tie them, even though they are not hogs. Let's have another critter around, sure. So we can put these guys up here, and we can like feed them just fine. The only restriction is that we can't use the grooming station until that's a proper status, which is fine. Research, what else we want to research? Sure. And at this point for research, I'm just filling out the research tree. I don't really care. The stuff that's left is not relevant to what I'm trying to achieve. Now, ideally, I would make another 2 or 3 of these stables. But I gotta figure out where, because I don't want to build them up here, because that brings them into conflict with the heat generation, or within range of, into conflict with whatever your preferred terminology on that is. Can somebody get a move on with that? How long will that egg hatches? That'll be a while. Yeah, we should be fine. Definitely don't care. Oops. Don't care. Carpet tiles are great. Carpet tiles are they're like huge decor, plus 20 each. And they have a range of 4 squares, so when you put a bunch of them together, like that's a massive decor improvement. So, right now I'm looking at either Trivaldo or Amari. I don't really want decorating, but I also don't really want doctoring. I don't really want rocketry. Cooking is good though. Supplying and researching though are also good. So I think I'm going to go with Trivaldo. Yeah. Turner, excellent. Turner is now finished for research. Turner can do any research in any machine or anything out in the world. So Turner is golden. Alright, Trivaldo. I believe you're also art, but we're not going to touch that until we upgrade you. And supplying, you're fine as is. Why is all our copper just sitting there? moves don't have a priority, so you can't increase their priority. Let me double check. Oh, you haven't done the materials thing yet. Okay. Unpermitted food. These tokens consume prevent from eating any of the food within their reach. Okay, so these need to be a higher priority, because I think we're making a lot of muck bars, mush bars, yeah we are, and we are not converting them into mush fries. Storage unavailable. Are you kidding me? Are you telling me refined metal is not selected? You are telling me that refined metal is not selected. Alright. Probably time to get this done, just so I can start planning out where to place the material study terminal. Look at these guys suddenly figuring out we got meat we can barbecue. Oh, Abyssalite. Yeah, something we don't want. Okay, we need this roof to be done because I think that heat, yeah, it's starting to leak in. That's not good for us at all. I also want that roof to be sealed because I can't do anything about the oxygen level in there until it's sealed off. Okay. I'm pretty sure I cannot flip this around. Yeah, it can't be rotated or flipped. So, here's the thing. If we build this here, we need... I'm just gonna slow this down. We need to get radiation to this spot, right? To this little circle. We do that by firing rad bullets. So if we have it like pressed up here, we gotta find a way to get red bolts to that, which probably means coming from the roof going down. Which means they've probably got to travel some kind of distance, because they can't come from the left and they can't travel through walls. So if we build this here, we would have to generate red bolts at a minimum here, which would be up and over and down, and that would be, you know, a lot of spaces. And red bolts decay while they're in flight. That's the other thing you've got to bear in mind. Whereas if we build it here, on this side, we could, theoretically at least, build the rad bolts closer. We still want to fire them up, bounce them across the ceiling and down, because if we fire them across and a dupe happens to run in between and get hit by the rad bolt, one, that dupe is going to get injured, and two, it's going to generate nuclear fallout. Right? A big gunk of radioactive nuclear waste on the floor. And on a long enough timeline, even if it's only a short horizontal distance, it's going to happen. It's going to happen a bunch. So what to do? Why does this keep running out of power? No particular reason. They're just not generating enough. Okay. Because they can't breathe is the main problem. Yeah, okay. So I probably want to build it over here, you know? And so in terms of radiation, so you might think that the way to generate radiation is via uranium ore, because as we know from real life, hey, uranium, radioactive. And that's a good first blush idea, but actually that's a terrible idea, because this stuff will get consumed and you're going to run out. However, there is a plant that is naturally radioactive. Now, if you've played the base game, you've used this plant a whole bunch to generate cold. It's the wart, which I don't see any. In fact, I don't even see a cold biome. Oh no, there's no Arctic biome. Oh, hang on, there we are. The wheezewort. This guy here. So these guys are, they just generate cold, right? They suck in heat and get around them. But also, once you turn on the radiation filter, they generate a lot of radiation. Right? 380 rads, slight hazard. So, in the base game, you didn't really want them near your dupes all that much because it made them cold. Fair. Here, you can kill them with radiation, so you don't want your dupes just, you know, hanging out beside the wheezeworts. But on the upside, this makes them a really good source of radiation for rad bolt production, which is what I'm going to use them for. Because, like, if we go to radiation, oops. So you can do a manual rad bolt generator, and that is gonna. It should say it here. It does not. That requires you to manually input uranium, and that gets chewed up and a bolt gets kicked out every so often. So, you know, it's going to cause one of your dupes to be constantly busy, which sucks. And it doesn't produce a lot of rad bolts either. It's not great. The rad bolt generator, however... Oh, the upside of this is it doesn't require any power. The rad bolt generator, on the other hand, will produce rad bolts non-stop as long as it's got power, and it needs a lot of power. It will continuously generate rad bolts, which is great. Because you put it beside the wheezy board, which is continually producing radiation, and now you have infinite rad bolts. And you can, with one wheezy board, you can build, you know, a couple of rad bolt generators around it. And I will lay them out shortly. Although not in this video, because this video is about to finish up. But in the next video, I think we'll start laying them out. First, in order to deal with this power problem. So the power problem here is due to lack of oxygen. So we're going to solve that oxygen problem by building a algae terrarium. Which is very slow. Okay, more ice. Production of oxygen. But it's continuous and doesn't require any power, so it's kind of awesome in that regard. It also consumes carbon, like 30 grams per second. Like, compare that to this diffuser. The diffuser is like 500 grams, so it's like, what, 18, 17 times better in terms of oxygen production, in terms of quantity. It also eats algae at 550 grams per second, whereas this consumes algae at 30. So ,30 grams of algae gets you 40 grams of oxygen. It's pretty good, right? That's a 3 to 4 ratio. Whereas this 550 gets you 500. So when your algae to oxygen ratio is actually quite a bit lower, it's less than 1 to 1 on the diffuser, whereas it's over 1 to 1 on these terrariums. The only downside is this also eats a lot of water, like 300 grams per second. It is a lot. It needs someone to manually water it and to take out the things. Wait, the effects is carbon dioxide? Oh, it consumes. Yeah, the effect should not be there. That should, I guess, or at least there should be a minus sign in front of the effects, because it consumes it. That's confusing. So the thing is, it consumes carbon dioxide, a very, very small amount. But given that we're low in our colony, carbon dioxide is going to keep coming down here, so that's a benefit. There's a little oxygen getting produced. The reason I produce it all at the end is because it's going to keep filling up, and it's going to push out the oxygen towards where our guys are. So that means they only have to take 1 or 2 steps. They don't have to run all the way through the door. But also, it'll get consumed quite quickly as well, though. Where are we at? So I'm going to put an algae terrarium in here as well. For similar reasons. It's nice and passive. It consumes carbon dioxide. And we don't have dupes in there very often, so we don't even need oxygen there. The hatches don't need oxygen. Like, they have a diet. They consume their, in terms of gas, they don't consume any kind of gas at all. Alrighty, I think I'm going to wrap it up there for today. Again, likes and subscribes would be great. If you do subscribe and you want to be notified when the next episode drops, you can need to click on the little bell. Otherwise, you know, YouTube's not going to notify you even though you subscribed. And, you know, if you have any thoughts or suggestions, you know, keep them constructive. Feel free to drop them in a comment down below. See you next time.